direction, misdirection sets the stage to turn the page. At the raising of the curtain, I am hurting and uncertain of the parts that we have played. Why must the show go on? I can't say these lines again. Why must the show go on? Must I sing this song again? Fading out of the close-up, everybody's reeling, no concealing. Your beauty is seed stealing. Violins are singing, sunset's waiting, radiating. Your entrance is breathtaking. Why must the show go on? I can't say these lines again. Why must the show go on? Must I sing this song again?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the four-wall, I was going to say Sunday Roundtable because we usually do these on Sunday, but it's Monday. So welcome to the four-wall Roundtable. It's been a couple weeks since we did one of these, but we're super excited about this panel. I am joined once again by my co-host, Jeff Kreuter.
Hey,
Jeff, welcome back.
Welcome back. It's good to be back. Here we are again. And hello, everyone. Welcome to the four-wall Roundtable. No longer the Sunday Roundtable. That means we can do this anytime we want, Drew.
Yes, and I think
like we just
and with a lot of folks getting back to work, I think having that, taking off that Sunday, hopefully will get us more people on off days to talk about getting back to work. So
yeah, and people can have their weekends.
Yes,
because now that matters again all of a sudden.
Yeah, so, it didn't matter when we started this, that's for sure.
No, we had a weekend for months. Also, Light Humor episode 3 came out today. Very exciting. I encourage everyone to tune in. We'll post the link at the end of this episode. Here's a little episode 3 blurb. If you're wondering what the lighting equipment has been up to during the shutdown, drop in on their Zoom call and find out. They have found ways to keep in touch, just like us. The Light Humor is produced by Drew and Corey Paddock and myself, and written by Corey Paddock and animated by Skylar Smith. And this episode has a cast of Jen Shriver, Neil Austin, Ann Nathan, Chad Tiller, Alan Edwards, Ashley Ferrer, and I think some of Drew's kids.
It was my niece, Maddie McKinstry, and then my daughter, Amelia Dookie Quinones. Dookie's her nickname.
Well, thanks to them. Thanks to everyone for doing it. Everyone tune in. I think it's pretty funny, but that's just me. It's called Light Humor, so it better be funny. We're here to talk about Las Vegas. That's why we're here tonight, and the restart of live entertainment in Las Vegas. Vegas has been ahead of the curve and certainly well ahead of New York. And we're going to speak with a pretty amazing group of people who are right in the middle of it. And Drew, having lived there for many years yourself, you are kind of as much a panelist for this as you are a host for this one anyway. Before we bring our guests in, you have you're on the pulse. You've been to things. You know what's going on. What's the latest as you see it before?
Yeah, I mean, it was I think it was a super busy weekend for the city. It's great to see it come back. As you know, like I went to a few playoff Vegas Golden Knight games, but this past weekend I think was huge. And it's great to see people complain about parking again. That's kind of like the buzz of the beat writers out here. It's like everybody complains about parking, but they had the Joe Rogan, Dave Chappelle show on Friday, which was at Laura, one of our panelists here was at MGM. Saturday was the Conor McGregor fight at the T-Mobile Arena. And then also Saturday was the Garth Brooks concert at the new Allegiant Stadium, which is the Las Vegas Raiders stadium. So there was a ton of people here on top of the other shows that were going on, the regular shows. So
yeah,
crazy.
Amazing. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the panelists and hear their take.
All right. We have a little. I'm going to kind of read a couple bios for everybody before we bring them in. Our first panelist is Barbara Brennan. Her career started her career in entertainment technical services began in the family business, Cinema Services of Las Vegas, which was the main supplier of theatrical and television lighting equipment for the Las Vegas area. After that was sold, she worked as an LD for networks and production companies, won she won regional Emmy Awards for sport location lighting, and she is now my fellow colleague at 4Wall as Senior Account Executive for the Systems and Design Integration Department at 4Wall. Barbara, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How you doing?
Barbara.
Hi, Jeff.
Nice to see
Doing
you.
good.
Nice
Thank
to
you
see
so
you
much.
guys too.
Yep. Thank you so much for doing this. And next is who I mentioned a little while ago, Laura Isham. She has been in a variety of entertainment positions and participated in many entertainment genres as an executive, tech, director, stage manager, and various crews for professional academia and nonprofit organizations. Currently, she is operating in a senior leadership capacity with Las Vegas's top casino company, who I mentioned, MGM Resorts International. Laura Isham, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you. Good to see you, Barbara.
Good to see you too, Laura.
And next is Jay Stan. He is Las Vegas's premier production stage manager for corporate theatrical presentations, award shows, sale meetings, product launches, and galas. He provides stage management for corporate theatrical productions with audiences from 200 to 20,000, and has worked with plenty of Fortune 500 companies like Walmart, Toyota, and Sony. Jay Stan, thank you so much for joining.
Hi guys, glad to be here. Thanks.
Jay's having some audio issues. You can hear us now, which is great.
Good, but please, it's Jay Stan.
Jay Stan.
Jay Stan.
We can't hear you very well. Do you have a microphone that you can get closer to?
Yeah, how's this?
Better. Thank you, Jay Stan.
Yeah, I'll be talking from the convention sort of standpoint and the business of conventions as they apply to corporate presentations theatrically.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And last and certainly not least, John Farber has been doing shows on the Strip for the last 21 years. Lighting designer, lighting director, and programmer for many shows on the Strip, such as Celine Dion at Caesar's Palace. He's now at Harrah's Hotel and Casino. John, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Hey everyone!
Alrighty.
Thanks so much for doing it. We're gonna dive right in, and feel free to raise hands, talk over each other. This is an all new 4Wall roundtable where I'll start off by calling out. Please feel free.
No holds bar. No holds bar.
You're all in the same place. But we're going to start. Let's say we're going to start with Barbara for the first one here. So first of all, thank you all for joining us. As I said, I know you're all very busy, and I'm thrilled to hear that you're all very busy. It's amazing that you're all as busy as you are. Before we dive into what you're up to now, let's take a little look back at the last year and a half. What was COVID life like for you? If you were working, how was it different? What's the last 15, 16 months been, We
I never stopped working. we were working on some really large projects here in Las Vegas, everything from the new addition of the Las Vegas Convention Center to Resort World. So honestly, it was full steam ahead. We never stopped. And I feel bad because I had a lot of friends that were out of work, and I kind of felt guilty because I was coming in to the office every day and working. So and it was busy. I mean, because we were working on Resort, so it just didn't really stop for us.
Yeah, I mean, that is amazing. I would say most people did not have the same experience, and
No.
we've had about 200 guests on this show, and only a handful actually were working through the whole thing. So
And
it's amazing.
most of them were kind of integrated projects too.
Right. It wasn't just me. I mean, our whole department was slammed, and it was really, really good. I mean, I'm glad. I think, other than we were really jealous because we heard a lot about people going mountain biking and having afternoon, drink parties, and we're sitting here working. So
Okay.
I have to say, I feel like, hey, wow.
That means you need a vacation.
Yeah.
John, how about you? What was COVID for you?
Well, essentially, I had nothing going on from mid-March until December, and I spent a lot of time with my daughter. So we had a lot of fun, and I got a lot of projects done. I repainted my house, did some work in my wood shop. I tried to accomplish at least a task a day during that period of time. So, I mean, it was pretty good for me. I made the best of that.
That's a more popular answer than Barb's. Jay Stan, how about you?
I had Barbara's guilt, so I went and volunteered I belonged to two unions, Equity and IA, and I volunteered. We had a food bank once a month for the past 10 months now, and I made 9 of them. The last one I missed because I was working. But riding my bike and volunteering at the food bank made me good. I'm a pretty philosophically enhanced individual, and like I said, I had the guilt Barbara had, but I did not have the opportunity to work. There were 0 conventions in Las Vegas. There was nothing going on. Vegas built the new West Wing of the Las Vegas Convention Center. There's a new the 2 largest ballrooms in the world right now were built by Caesars and unable to open. The Wynn has new 800,000 square feet of new convention space, all shut down. So there was no work. So I did the best I could and just volunteered for my buddies.
Also a popular answer. Laura, how about you?
I had a hybrid. I had a couple months where I was trying to learn to garden and didn't, and then decided to do a nutrition certificate for coaching and fitness stuff online. And I like to be in person. So when I was able to go back to work, went back to work, and it was lonely. And you would see, checking HVAC systems and checking the rest because you were the only one running through the building. Sad times, but guilty, but also grateful to be back.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, my wife, she worked at MGM for a little while, and I think when they closed down that building, or at least her department, it was kind of sad to see no cars when there was nowhere to park. So yeah, that was crazy to see. Yeah. Work aside, we'll go to you, John. Aside from hanging out with your daughter, was there any other pandemic hobbies? Did you bake any bread, cook anything interesting, anything new and surprising during the shutdown?
Like Laura, I did a lot of gardening. I tried that.
Gardening in the desert, huh?
Well,
I like how you both said tried.
What happened? Just 3 days ago, everything died. So it was going well, and I had a tree that I grew from a seed, and it's gone now. So I've gone into basic survival. So everything that I did during the pandemic is now just melting in my backyard.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Jason,
in their defense, Vegas hit its record high again, 117 degrees the other day.
Yeah, I read
with
that.
14% humidity. That's high for us.
Wow.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
it's high.
it's a beautiful hazel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the air quality is so bad. Jeff, you're so lucky to be the one person not breathing it right now.
I know, and I'm in New York.
Jay Stan, did you happen to do any other new hobbies or anything like that during the shutdown?
No.
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 And Barb, I'm not going to ask you. You were in the office.
I did some things. I did
Oh,
three
okay.
things. Number one, I was caregiving my mom, who is 91. Number two, I work with a theater company, and so we started reading plays. We did on Zoom, like every Thursday night. We would have play readings,
awesome.
which was really pretty cool. And I did try baking bread. So now I don't make bread in the store. I make my own. I make my own bread because it was good. So I did do some things.
Well, make sure you leave some in the break room, Barb.
All right, I will. I promise.
Did you have a favorite play that you read, or what was the last one you guys read?
Well, I actually had we actually mounted a product. We had started a production before the pandemic, and it got closed down right before. It's a play called The Children, and we did it in the Clark County for the Clark County Library District over on Flamingo and Maryland Parkway, and we had over 200 people there the other night, which really for a local play and people come, it was fantastic. It was
awesome.
really great to do that. So yeah, I mean, right as when they started giving out the shots, we started rehearsals again, and then we mounted the show and we did it like 2 weeks ago. So that was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Amazing.
You got to get back.
Yeah,
definitely.
Laura, other than gardening, was there anything else?
No, I learned to air fry cook in the air fryer, and I took up grilling again because I don't really cook inside. So, no, just learn to cook what we can and eat.
Yeah, eating. That's definitely
eating.
A hobby of mine.
Eating.
Well, I eat a lot too. I didn't
Yeah.
Jay Stan, let's go to you. So, Jay Stan, what was the first sign for you that things were starting to reopen? Was there one thing that made you say, "All right, like here it goes, like things are going to ramp up"?
All right, so I'm not all that altruistic. One of the reasons I got involved with the food bank is, as you know, the industry is filled with gossip, and Laura and Barbara were busy making all kinds of changes. When they say they were working, what production companies were working on during this and hotels were working on is the expected return.
Yeah.
And I heard all about it. I heard that once we got ahead of this thing, that it was going to come back, that we were going to have plenty of work, and the convention industry would reopen with a bang. And all of that has borne true. We have been coming back. I've been surprised. I was expecting September, October. It is July, and I'm on my third job already.
Yeah, amazing.
Jeez.
John, let's go to you. Was there a sign for you? Something in the clouds that said, "Here we go"?
Well, I mean, we're pretty tight circle, so over the whole pandemic, I spoke to my friends and my peers quite often. And so you hear a little bit here and there, but in December, when I heard there was the rumor about Tapeface coming back in again, and then he did, and then we started the show back up again. But basically, it was like nothing right up until, "Hey, we're reopening Tapeface. Can you come in?" But everything was just like rumor and hearsay for me up until that moment, and that's what made it real, that things are actually happening again.
So what happened? You got just a phone call out of the blue. Your phone rings and you look down and it's your boss.
Yeah, basically, he's like, "Hey, Tapeface is going to be opening on this particular day, and can you come in and start like designing, programming, and can you do this?"
Yeah,
and of course, I was like, "Well, let me check my schedule." And then I was like, "Yeah,
open.
Put it in." Yeah.
It's supposed to be baking bread. Sorry, I can't.
Bro, but I'll make it in.
Laura, how about you? So you may have had the sign before other people since you actually run venues. What was it over there for you?
It was interesting because we went from tons of meetings about checklists and planning to less of the meetings of checklists and planning, how to get it all done, into the actual operation of it, which meant that you were in less meetings and they started to go to biweeklies and really truly starting to outplay, as well as ticket on sales. Once the tickets were on sale and we were starting to move into more of a practical mode, you knew it was really going to open. So
yeah, cool.
Continue.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, Drew, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought it was, did you ask Barbara that one?
Did I? No. Just like old times.
Yeah.
Barb,
Yeah.
was there a change? I mean, did anything, was there a sign for you that things would come back? Did anything change at work?
Well, I think what's happened is a lot of people, because there wasn't there really wasn't a lot of maintenance in the properties and things like that. So what I see is that people are like, okay, we got to get everything up and running again. So we have a lot of things going on where, because we do a lot of service in the properties, you know, for their infrastructure systems and things like that. So I see a lot of that coming back, and that's when I know, okay, I see a lot coming down in the, you know, in the future, in the next couple months, of just getting things, to get things open again. A lot of things have to be maintained. So that to me was the biggest thing. I mean, the other thing is, yeah, the opening of Resort World, which you know, in Vegas was a pretty big deal the other week. And there's still parts of the property that aren't open, and so, you know, we're still working on the theater and a couple of other venues there. So it's going forward.
And how about like life in the office? Were you in the office every day, or were you remote?
No, it was really strange. I started working at home and hated it. I just really hated it. I also the internet service at my house sucks, and so quite honestly, that was like the big thing. Sure. It was really strange because in the beginning I was here by myself, and it was very weird. And then because as Resort World developed, and some of the other projects that we were working on, there would be people that would be coming in and out. So yeah, but you know, I kind of liked it.
Sure.
It was kind of, you know, I'd run around the hallways and scream and yell, and but yeah, it was okay. I didn't mind it so much. Also for me, because I was caregiving too, is like it was closer to my mom, so that worked out as well. But I didn't really mind coming in here. This is like my my women's cave, I guess. So
Nice.
to be here.
So when did people start invading your cave, so to speak?
My cave, well, I would say the end of last year, and now a lot of people are coming back in. I mean, we really the systems office, well, pretty much the four-wall office for people to come into the office here in Vegas, started on the 6th, right after the 4th. So it's interesting to pull up and there's all these cars and everything like that. You really became used to just having your quiet, just to get done the things that you wanted to get done, and now it's a little bit different. So.
And Laura, I see you're nodding. What was it like at MGM? When did the parking lot start to fill up again?
Well, the parking lot was last weekend. You guys spoke to it last weekend, and then the weekend before was just insane. But it used to be that you could get to work in 20 minutes and get to your desk. And I live about 20 minutes out exactly. So to be able to get to work and be at my desk in 25 minutes was amazing. Where now we're back to traffic, yay. But for 45 minutes, I've got a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, find parking spots and the rest.
Yeah.
So.
How long ago? When did the traffic begin again? I mean, how many? Was it recent or? I mean, yeah. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I'll answer it once. 3 weeks.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I will say too.
Ramping really, truly, it ramped up a little bit in March, but then the last 3 weeks has just been this complete turn.
Yeah, it's gotten crazy. It really has.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it was really strange right at the beginning of the pandemic because we had full lockdown here and there was nobody on the road. It was eerie. I thought I was in the middle of a science fiction movie, actually. It was very strange.
Same with New York. It was very eerie. Now, I will say the traffic in New York has come back, but people aren't really back in offices yet. I mean, I was actually speaking to someone 2 days ago complaining that he was going to have to go back in September. So that's That's how backwards we are.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
gonna
Drew,
say
now we can move on because
yeah.
now I've finished all four.
Well, as a host and panelist, I will say it's been really nice to see the shop, the four-wall shop. I was there last week and seeing road cases rolling around and smelling the propane tank from the forklift and everything and hearing beep, beep, beep. It was just like really nice because I went there when there was nothing and there's a few scattered crews. So to see it come back and see the guys in the shop, guys and girls in the shop, it's been really, really cool to see. So I'm super excited about that. Laura, we'll go to you for this one. What were the early changes for you as things started coming back? What did work look like your workload look like in the new beginning of opening up?
A lot of it was health and safety, and making sure that we were prepared with any PPE and making sure that that both guests as well as employees were safe within the environment. And so spread out, we opened Thunderland with Thunder from Down Under with 80 people in the room, and it's normally a 400 seat room. And so several venues around town did the same thing. And to go and sit in an audience 6 feet apart felt really, really strange. And so it was interesting to watch the shows and watch the transition. And so just change to open and then change over time. But it was a lot of preparation with PPE.
Right. Yeah. Well, if I was watching that show with only 80 people, I'd be super anxious that they would put me on stage. So I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Barb, how about you? Once people started coming back, I mean, I know you've been working, but like once everybody started getting kind of back, everybody, what did that kind of look like for you with everything going on? Was there any sort of difference or?
I think the workload is the same, if not a bit more, but I think the thing that I like, is I really like the fact that you can collaborate with people face to face. I think that was for me, one of the difficult things is just doing everything either by phone or Zoom. And I was just really tired of it. I like talking to people face to face, and I just really appreciate that there's people back and you can have conversations, and I don't know, that's the part for me that I like the best.
Awesome. Jason, how about you?
Well, what Laura and Barb said, I just need to reiterate. Yeah, the face to face, the getting back together. People need to gather. They like to validate shared values, etc. I deal with the things that they set up with Barb and Laura, with different companies, with different clients, etc. People are dying to come back to conventions, to come to Vegas, to do it. And this past weekend was just blockbuster. Garth Brooks, a major MMA fight, Bruno Mars. It was crazy. Traffic was out of control. People are dying to do this again.
Yeah, and I kind of always, I made this statement numerous times about watching people sit in the seats for the preliminary fights, where usually everybody's walking around, kind of having some drinks. But that first Canelo fight that was in Texas, I think it was like 75,000 people. It was a trip to see everybody locked into those early fights that nobody usually cared about. So you can just feel it. And somebody told me a story too about Garth Brooks, that the parking and there were so many people that people were getting their Ubers dropped off the 15 right there, like and going down Dean Martin. Is it Dean Martin? Yeah, Dean Martin right there. So, and it was honestly, it seemed like everybody seemed super excited to be back, where maybe if that was 2 years ago, it'd be like a real shit show and everybody would be complaining. But I think everybody was super happy for that.
Well, that just means they have 2 years to figure out how to fix that problem, I guess.
Yeah, they'll get it. Oh yeah, they'll get it. John, how about you? What were the early changes for you as you started going back? What did work look like for you in this new? I'm not going to say the new. What do they call it? The new normal. I'm not going to say
new norm. We started doing the show again in December, and so or early January. So it was pretty crazy. Like we couldn't put T-Face back in his original room because it was too small to comply with anything. So we had to put him up in the showroom. So it's a 600 seat room, but we can only bring in 50 people. Oof. And he wasn't allowed to use any volunteers from the audience. And the show was based on volunteers from the audience. And so we got in there, and suddenly it was, I had so missed collaborating. I mean, just that whole collaborative process. And we all kind of got in there and put our heads together, and we're like, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make this show work? And so that was great. So then we were doing the show for like 50 people in a 600-seat room. And it was interesting. And then things kind of like, changed from there. Then as they raised restrictions, we could bring more people in. We could change our distancing. And of course, now everything is just wide open now. Back to normal.
So I'm
going to bring this in real quick, Jeff.
Yeah,
it's been Dan O'Neill. It's been very exciting to be back and transporting from Orlando, Moonachie, and Nashville. Totally agree that it's nice to be face-to-face again. Dan, thank you so much for your comment.
Thank you, Dan. John, just as a little side question. So if you move the show from one venue to another, or one room to another in Harris, did you redesign, or did you take a light plot from one space and bring it to the next one? How does that work?
That's interesting. Interesting question. We
I tried.
In the House of Tape is the name of it. The room we built for him. It's a very small little cabaret room, and when we brought the show upstairs, we didn't really have a show. We sort of created it as we went, and so it was just workshopping it to make it into an actual show, because we didn't know what we were doing. And interesting, we're moving the show again in next week. So he has one more week, and then we're moving him into another. It used to be called the Improv, Laura. It's now the Cabaret Theater. So we're moving Sam down to the Cabaret Theater, and we're getting ready to bring in Donny Osmond. So there was no way to pre-plan what was going to happen, Jeff. It was just fly by the seat of your pants when you get in the room and just make magic, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll talk about what you're doing right now in a second, because I want to hear all about Donny
So with
Osmond.
it, we had an interesting one at MGM.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, please. No,
go.
Dive in.
We had one at MGM Grand that was interesting, because Jabberwockies moved from what would have been a 400-seat theater over to actually being in the arena and blocking off the arena and being able to do, 500 to 1,000 people as it started to climb in. And so they broke all kinds of their own records with it. But it was interesting because those that could be creative and had the ability, such as Tapeface, were really truly able to accommodate and to make the show happen, which has been great for us.
Yeah, amazing.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please, everyone interrupt. It's the new Oral Roundtable.
Yes.
Interruptions all over the place. Drew, are you following up this one, or am I? I've lost track of everything.
We're on the next one.
That's it? Oh, great. Moving on. Great. Jay Stan, what are you working on now? You said you had 3 projects since coming back. What's up? What are the projects? What's the one you're in the middle of?
We're in the middle of a large convention at Caesar's new Forum, the largest freestanding ballrooms in the world right now. Caesar's built and couldn't use during the pandemic, and they are booked solid and using them. The thing I'm bringing to this, and I think Barb and Laura can back me up on this, conventions and the industry has changed during the pandemic when every production company had a chance to sit around and think about what they were doing. They realized when we came back, we were going to be doing hybrid conventions, and very much so that's what I'm doing right now. 3,000 people live in this room, 3,000 people streaming this whole thing, all of my breakout rooms, my general sessions, etc. And we're finding problems that we even have on streaming something like this: the pipeline, the IT, the opportunities, the work, etc. in connecting live theater with the stream that we now are in is huge. It is everything.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's all about this work right now. The hybrid meeting, getting what's going on. I mean, Garth was streaming, for God's sakes. It's incredible how the industry has changed in 15 months from, oh yeah, let's have a live show and people hold up their cameras. They pouch cameras now, stream it, and everybody's trying to, make a buck off of that or, utilize it. It's big. It's really big.
So 3,000 live, 3,000 offsite, streaming it. this might be a dumb question, but does that mean would it have been 6,000 in person? Did 3,000 people just staying home, or is this opening it up so more people can actually be part of it?
I think the latter of your two choices there. It has opened up a whole new world that we as production people have to get used to and adopt to and make changes to accommodate. It's, you know, people will still have the need to gather, to meet, like Barb said, but the stream, the live IT, you know, whatever, if you're going into engineering or video or any of that, man, good on you.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, even theater in New York, like basic theater, they talk about like performing in front of an audience, and all of a sudden somebody whispers the fact that they might like stream it. It's then becomes a TV show, and you know, it's been actually hard for people to quite grasp that. But it's not the same thing. You can't approach it as a designer. You can't approach it the same way.
Oh yeah, as a stage manager, it used to be one of my problems: truck, load in, labor. Add to that a huge one now, and it's this.
Yeah. John, are you streaming anything out of Harris? So what are you working on now? What's you started talking about the Donny Osmond show?
Yeah, well, now we're preparing. Tay-Face is moving downstairs, so he's moving into we have a 300 seat room downstairs, which we call the Cabaret Theater. So we're moving him down there next week, at the end of next week, and then we just go into full on Donny Osmond mode. We're bringing Donny in, so we're basically emptying out. We're gutting our main showroom, and we're bringing in a new lighting system, sound system, video system, everything brand new for Donny. And then the idea is to open up in late August. We reopen him. So we're going into full on Donny mode in another week.
And like tech, like just like a normal tech before COVID, does it look the same at this point?
Everything's looking the same. I mean, the way everything is being handled right now, if you were in our showroom, you wouldn't even. I mean, a couple of people like to still wear masks, but everyone is essentially vaccinated and doesn't feel the need, at least with us, doesn't really feel the need to wear masks if we're vaccinated. And so it's business as usual. Everything is really normal. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question, but I'm going to wait because we're going to get to it soon. So putting a pin in that. Laura, how about you at MGM? What are you specifically working on, and what's happening at MGM now?
Well, I think everyone can speak to this, but a little bit. We are breaking records right now in the sense of we're making history because everybody's rehearsing at the same time, everybody's opening at the same time. So we've got all the Cirque shows. I personally, for Mirage, have Love going in. Tournament of Kings does a live dress rehearsal tonight. So the horses are back. Like every property has its own little or big or giant show coming in. So we're really all in rehearsal or opening and with opening nights. So we're and back to concerts and back to comedians on stage and we're just back to turning this corner where everything is happening, but mostly just show openings and shows, which is fantastic.
You're Matt King now, right?
What's that?
Yeah,
Matt King's there. Yeah, Matt King's he's a good guy.
He's a great guy. I love Mac. Absolutely.
Are you back to full capacities? Or sorry, did you say is it your full capacity in the theaters at this point?
Full capacity in theaters. Yeah, cool. Full capacity in theaters. And then I know Stan spoke to the 100,000 people plus that were at this corner specifically over the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's full capacity and running.
Yeah, cool. And Barb, what's your sense about things? Are you working on anything different now?
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to have new projects. So we've got in addition to, like I said, working on upgrading systems around the town. There's a new concert venue going up, and we're working to kind of get that. We have one PO for it, and we're working on the rest of it. So it's the Sphere. I mean, we're working on that.
So beautiful. I cannot wait.
You and me both.
I drive past it every day on my way to work. It's amazing.
With all due respect, Laura.
Wow.
No, it's good. The mirror ball's happening.
It's so exciting. It's really. Like anything. We should just make a whole section just to talk about the Sphere.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Let's fingers crossed, right?
You could have an episode about the Sphere.
When it opens, we'll have an episode about the Sphere. Great.
we finished, because I'm really concerned with Vegas, but we finished, yeah, there you are.
There it is.
We
Nice.
finished a project in China. We had people over in China during the pandemic working on Universal.
Cool.
And right now we're working on SeaWorld in Abu Dhabi. I'm not, those aren't my projects, because I'm basically with Las Vegas and West Coast projects, but we've got those. Universal they're going to have to go back, but I think we're like 90% done with that. But Abu Dhabi is really big right now. We've got people in the back because we're fabricating and things like that. So yeah, we're moving forward.
And when you say the sphere, so what exactly is your part in this project?
Okay, we're working on architectural and production lighting and infrastructure. I'm going to leave it at that because I signed an NDA, so
don't get in trouble, Barb.
Yeah, but that's what we're working on. Yeah. So
thanks, Jason.
As much as
I did not, and this is what it looks like a week ago pulling out of the forum.
That's a terrible picture of it. You can't even see the screens.
As a stage manager, though, I can't wait. Video 360 on the outside, 360 on the inside. My God, I can't wait to call a show in there.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, we'll do a sphere panel.
We'll do a walkthrough.
Yeah, I did
you have like the project manager. I mean, fingers crossed, and the project managers and everything to talk about it when people are allowed to. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, now I can't wait, especially since you can't talk about it. We're going to have you back on when you can.
Yeah.
So much more now.
What I did to myself there. No, I would love to talk about it. That would be great when we can.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do an episode in it. I'll come out and we'll like actually walk
we'll
through
do it. Yeah, we'll do a road trip
instead of these little boxes.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Laura, you had talked about like record-breaking things going on, but has there any, a lot of other industries seem to be having trouble finding labor. Somebody told me a story about being at a bar and they're like, "Hey, it's closed." They're like, "What do you mean it's closed? It's only 1 o'clock." But it was because there wasn't enough, bartenders, so they can't do the 24/7 right now. Are you having any sort of trouble with that has that been your experience?
Absolutely been our experience. Everything ramped up so quickly. And with everything ramping up so quickly, it's been a mix of people who already had commitments somewhere, not even in the field necessarily, but also people who just were not at this point feeling safe to come back to work or ready to come back to work. There's been a lot of different reasons, but it has been really hard getting everybody back and everybody processed in a timely manner when the time was 2 weeks, the time was, a month, the time was not fast enough. Plus you didn't have enough people necessarily working in order to get that process going. So it's been a challenge across the board. I think Vegas has done a really good job on being able to try to accommodate, but we still have a ways to go for sure.
Mm-hmm. So. And Jay Stan, what's been your experience as far as labor goes? Has there been like a shortage, or have you reached out to somebody that says like, "Hey, I'm not in the industry anymore," or anything like that?
Absolutely, 100%. The problem is that it's the kind of business. Conventions and bounce work is what we call it here in town, is that when the work's there, you get all kinds of qualified people. There are tons of qualified people in Las Vegas, in the IA particularly. A lot of those guys had to split. I was going to bring up 2 in particular that I know, a best friend that is driving a truck for Amazon right now, another guy whose kid went into it and was very talented. He started taking lessons to fly a helicopter. Yeah, no kidding. So, I tried talking my truck driver buddy back into the business. He's a lighting programmer like John, but it's like we are going to be shy people. It's going to be rough to get the qualified guys back. And until the business is there, which it is, there's going to be a dearth of people, and it's going to be hard, to ramp back up to get the qualified individuals there. I'm lucky the past couple of gigs I have there have had the people, but I was really pleased. The first gig I got back on, the producer got the crew together and talked to them and said it was kind of unique. They had this unique setup. The job was Meeting Professionals International. the people that throw meetings, and they had a special setup. They had 5 seats backstage with clients on headset listening to the crosstalk and everything. We had to kind of keep our jokes to a minimum and all the, we call it in the industry COH, client on headset. That's not a surprise to any of us. But he explained it to my crew. I had 40 guys there. Show crew was like 26. He said, listen, they're going to be on headset. They're doing this, and this for a couple of reasons, to help me sell this and explain to them why it's so complex and why it costs so much to throw something like this. The audiences are so much more sophisticated with iPhones and whatever. They see all this stuff. They need to know how hard it is to mount one of these and do what it is that we all do. And the skill sets for smart guys 15 months ago, when they were faced with, guess what, there's 0 work, they had to make an economic decision. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough couple of months, particularly since in the off time, 4Wall and all of its competitors have reorganized, changed, merged, changed billing systems, changed all kinds of stuff. It's going to be work, and lots of it to get it back up to where it was and make it happen. But I'm sure we can. This is Vegas. It'll happen. But wow, it's a rough road. It really is.
And John, how about you? What's been your experience? I mean, you can probably say you can echo the same thing that Jay, Stan, and Laura have both said. But anything else you want to add on?
No, I mean, I feel like they're pretty thorough. I don't.
Yeah.
Can't think of anything at the moment. No.
And Barb, as far as in the systems world, was there any sort of travel restrictions? Like, hey, we can only send 3, but you really needed 4, or anything like that for you? And you're muted. Sorry, you're muted. Barb, you're muted. Your mic's muted.
Barb, your mic's off.
Sorry,
No worries.
It fluctuates depending on what project that we're doing. We had enough to cover it.
Okay.
We could do more now. What I would just like to say, what I'm seeing an issue is with component shortages, where people want us to do maintenance and things like that, and the lighting manufacturers, are having a hard time getting their hands on components, and so we're seeing time stretch out for delivery as far as equipment and things like that, which I think that's going to take a little bit to work itself through.
Sure. I mean, it's not just the lighting industry; it's all around.
That's interesting.
Everybody's dealing with that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I'm going to have that issue, because we're expecting all of our new gear for Donnie to be dropped August 2nd. Do you think maybe there's going to be some issues there?
It depends. There are things.
You
Some
should have
companies will
whoever you purchased it from check and make sure that everything's cool.
Yeah.
Or
You know what? Thank you for that. I think
say,
done.
Just saying.
Yeah, no,
you went to uselighting.com.
yeah, that's why these are good things.
Now, see, John, if it was me, I would be giving you updates regularly. So there you are.
Yeah, I know.
I will say the company that I've just bought a bunch of stuff from, and there is a number at the beginning of the next word, they are giving me updates all the time.
Yeah, good. It is a little bit scary, because there's just things, the dates, it's turning from days now into weeks. So hopefully it will catch up with that. So I think it's labor and equipment.
Yeah. But John, there are things that are delivering on time. It's not everything.
No, I'm sure.
Some things are in
a lot of things. It's still the chain of communication, the people along that, it's still kind of sparse. In that way, we're not really back completely up and running full again, because there's a way fewer people doing a lot of work right now, and so
I agree.
The communication sort of falls by the wayside a little bit, and it's no one's fault. It's everybody's working so hard.
We'll give you at the end of the show. We'll give you a Tina Rass number. Shout out Tina.
That's
Shout
right.
out Tina.
John, can you speak a little more of that, as far as a shortage of people at Harrah's? I mean, can you speak to that? Are there fewer people doing are you doing more work than you normally would? Are there fewer people doing the job of many in your experience? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah, they're just trying to, we brought the show back, and when you're doing a show for 50 people, and you're trying
Economics.
to not lose money.
Yeah.
So I mean, so right now, I'm the one person in the showroom. I'm like the tech guy. So I'm like, so yes, I'm doing all my lighting stuff, and other tasks along with that. So people are that's all changing. I mean, that's all changing really soon. But the last bunch of months have been every one person essentially has been doing the job of 3.
Yeah.
But that's all changing.
That's all changing, right? But that's like next phase is they're going to hire more people back.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have the whole. I mean, it's been trickling back. I mean, our crew is trickling back to work. So it's getting back. It's getting back to normal.
So here's a question. This is a group question, and we can start with John, but I want everyone to just hit on this. Are there COVID restrictions for crews? I mean, in New York and certainly in the film, television business, definitely in the theater business, the unions dictate what you can and cannot do on set or in the theater. Is that a thing in Vegas? Are there rules that say you can't stand, more than a certain number of feet between people? Laura, what is your experience?
I would say it's show by show for us.
Mm-hmm.
Different shows have had different rules, and different rules have changed along the way, and even within the show. Currently, it's more about what the shows or the sports teams or whatever the case may be that's calling the shots on what the venue's doing is really, truly driving it. And then there's the overall what the casinos are saying as a general perspective. But it's lightened up a lot, but it's definitely
I think for like the Golden Knights, they had some seats backed up because the NHL had restrictions on the people being close to the players. But I think for that Conor McGregor UFC fight, they added more seats so it'd break a record for the largest UFC or the largest crowd or attendance for a UFC fight at T-Mobile. Yeah. And it's at the same arena, so it's just an interesting thing.
And I mean, that's patrons is one thing, and that's kind of amazing that they did that. Pretty cool. But just the restrictions that I'm finding are more to do with the unions and more to do with the people who are working on these projects. Saying that this is what you have to do. Like we're still like on set, we're still wearing face masks and visors.
The bubbles still exist for some shows.
Yeah.
And for some sports teams. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And Jason, with your crews that you have, what are the protocols? What are the COVID rules?
Well, like Laura said, it's show to show.
On the one you're doing right now.
The venue describes and dictates what we are doing. Unfortunately, and this will probably segue into your next questions and stuff. The news right now is everybody's 65,000 at Garth, all these people. The fact is though, and I'm a big fact-based kind of guy, the COVID virus and the variant is a 0.2 micron airborne particle. It spreads by people breathing and inhaling it. And when you get 65,000 people together, guess what? We're going to have another surge. We're all going to see this, and it's going to happen. And as a matter of fact, Nevada is the only state that's not a red state that is experiencing a rise in infection, probably because of this. So I think you're going to see it clamp down a bit. My guys are, it's optional. Nobody has to wear a mask. Most of the people I know are vaccinated and doing that. However, there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of people walking around unvaccinated, spreading this thing, spreading the Delta variant. And I think we're going to see a resurgence and probably another clampdown before September.
I hope not. I don't know. I hope not.
Maybe not the same kind of clampdown, but certainly a rollback. I mean, maybe a rollback.
Like a rollback. Most of the businesses and casinos have little signs up that say, if you're unvaccinated, please wear a mask. If you are, don't worry about it. But the fact is, it's spreading. We don't have enough people vaccinated.
Yeah.
A lot of people are exhaling. It's going to spread, and it'll get a little ugly before it gets better.
John, I'd love to have everyone's take on this. John, you were going to say something.
I mean, so if you're vaccinated, if you're fully vaccinated, that's how we work. no mask. It's just business as usual. It's like there's no social distancing. There's no mask if you're fully vaccinated. And for me, to a large degree, like so being fully vaccinated, I feel like, so if I did get sick, supposedly it's like I would be non-symptomatic, or it would be like having the flu or a cold. I don't know. I trust what the scientists are telling me. And then the people that are not vaccinated, I feel like they're taking their responsibility for themselves. So if you're not vaccinated and you want to go see Garth Brooks in a room of 70,000 people, you're taking your chance.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone that I know and love is vaccinated at this point.
Yeah. Yep. Laura, what's your institutionally speaking? What's MGM's take on this?
It's the same that John spoke to, where if you're vaccinated, you can be unmasked, and there's a sign when you walk in the door, and if you're not vaccinated, please mask. And so that's institutional. That's where it stands.
Yeah. Barb, you want to add anything on this?
No, I mean, for us in the beginning, all of the guys we had to follow the rules and regulations when someone went on site, as far as, temperature. They were testing temperatures and everybody was wearing masks and things like that. We did have a couple of guys that went through it that got sick, but they came through with flying colors. But so, and really pretty much this whole department has been vaccinated. I think there might be one or two people that haven't, but so we're pretty much, myself, if I feel uncomfortable in a place, I'll wear a mask. Otherwise, no.
Got it.
But we're following the CDC rules, as 4-wall is. I mean, that's what I'm understanding.
Yep.
Well, we've come to that point in the show where I think we lose Laura in just a few minutes, right?
So we'll get through this rapid fire. We'll get through this rapid fire, Laura, and then we'll send you off because this is going to be quick.
This is going to be the rapidest rapid fire we've ever done. So Laura,
they'll be quick.
Jeff's Roundtable Rapid Fire.
All righty.
Never gets old. Maybe it does get old. No, I still love it.
That's pretty graphic.
Okay, Laura, something you recently watched on TV or streamed for the viewers out there.
Love Island.
Hey, we had the
lighting designer on our show
from Love Island. Yeah.
Love Island.
John, what are you streaming?
Loki. I'm a big.
Me too. Don't know. I have one left. Don't say anything. Barb.
War of the Worlds. I'm a science fiction geek.
Oh, nice.
J Stan.
Sorry, I read a lot.
What's the last thing you
what
read?
are you reading?
The Economist.
Are you serious?
Smartest guy I ever knew.
You're my friend.
All right, J Stan. Best, other than economic advice, best advice given to you by anyone.
Oh, easy. Listen.
Good advice. Barb, best advice.
2 things: take care of your client and get the money.
Yeah. John.
Oh, the best advice?
Best advice.
God, this is rapid fire, right? Okay, so this, I don't know if this counts as advice, but this is something that's always stuck in my head. Something that the late, great Bruce Lannis said to me was, it's not your fault, but it is your problem.
Yes, that is great advice. Also, I didn't know he was late. Really?
Bruce Lannis passed away like 2 years ago.
Oh, God.
Really?
Really, Laura.
Show business is a word, and business is longer than show.
This is all great advice, everyone. Laura, something you wish you knew at the start of your career.
Oh, tough one. To just keep going, keep your head up and just keep going, no matter what happens. Really, truly, because you're going to experience it all.
John.
Something I wish I knew early on. Oh God, flexibility and likability are like 80% of it.
Yes, Barb.
Commitment. How much you really have to commit.
J Stan.
20 years ago, stay abreast of IT.
These are great. We should just send this out with a standalone episode. J Stan, what is the least favorite thing you have to do as part of your job?
That's a fun one.
Unlike
John, I don't work on something long term. I work on something that works a couple of days, a week, whatever. It's rough to get my crews and everyone to understand the branding of it, to bring the professionality of theater, etc. I think it's just the integrity of branding. Getting the crew to recognize we're all in this together. Whatever we do reflects on all of us, and it reflects on Vegas.
Yeah. Barb.
Having to give a client bad news.
Yeah. John.
In terms of, I hate having to tell a grown-up how to do their job when they should already know how. That sounds terrible.
No. That works. That's great. Laura.
HR issues.
Yeah, sure.
And Laura, that will be your. Oh, do one more, Jeff, and then she'll go.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Something that excites you about what you do, Laura.
I love the change. I don't like all the change we've experienced in the last 2 years, but I love the change, and I love the audiences and the shows all seen, and the show families. They all light up, and seeing the lights come to life, really, truly. And so it's all about the show part of it. It's been fun.
Way to end it, Laura.
I know. Out with a bang. No more.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
All right,
Hi.
Jeff, you're up.
Me.
Kidding. It's John.
John. Where were we? Something that excites you about what you do? Is that where we are?
Mm-hmm.
I love talking to strangers. Like, I like talking to audience members. I'll just hang out in the lobby before a show and just like talk to random people.
Just about anything. I don't know. No, we'll do. That's if we have time. Barb, something that excites you about what you do.
I was going to say people too, but also I'd like to add being able to walk away from a job that is like really great and be able to look at it and say, we did that. That's for me.
Yeah, cool. Jay Stan.
Laura and Barbara hire people that I get to listen to. I get paid to listen to people that have cutting edge information. I've had on my stage Barack, his wife, Michelle, incredible people. And that is absolutely the most exciting thing about my job, just hearing the world's best.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
And you don't have to pay for the conference ticket.
That's right. Proximity and getting in for free, I guess.
Yep.
Jay Stan, if you can invent anything, work related or otherwise, what would you invent?
Oh, please, dear God. The universal mute button.
Oh, yeah.
Mic drop for Jay Stan.
Like whether you're on screen or not, just like somebody standing there, just to be able to hit a mute button. Is that what you mean? Yeah. That's a good one. Barb.
A wing button for my car, so if I needed to fly, I could just push the button and I could fly.
Help with traffic in Vegas, certainly. John, what would you invent?
I am stumped. You would think, right? You would think I would have a gazillion things, right? I honestly.
Time machine. That's like a good default.
You'd have a mute button. I'd have a fast forward button, maybe. I don't know. Sorry.
No worries.
That's fine. If you think of it before the end,
I will. I'll just yell out.
All right, we're going to rapid fire right to the end here. And we've sort of hit on this a little bit anyway, but John, let's stick with you. We have up to now stayed away from predictions on the Four Wall Sunday Now Roundtable, but we're gonna come back to predictions I think after the first two episodes we were like, there's no way to predict any of this anymore. Let's forget that. But I think here we are. John, what happens next? What do the next few months to a year look like for you?
I mean, I'm super optimistic. I mean, in terms of like everything that's going on in Caesars and the whole Caesars world. And everything that's going on in Vegas. I mean, as Jay Stan said, with the venue that he's working at, with the new convention center, with the MSG Sphere, with Resorts World opening, and with the Allegiant Stadium, it's a really exciting time in Vegas, and I think Vegas is gonna come back stronger than it ever was in the past. So I'm pretty excited, actually.
Cool. Jay Stan, crystal ball. What do you think?
Like I mentioned earlier, I think there's going to be another surge. However, I think intelligence, truth, and science will out, this isn't the last pandemic we're going to face. We have faced, all kinds of flus and fevers, etc. We're gonna learn our lessons, and we are going to figure out that getting vaccinated is a good thing, and the herd will be culled, and it'll change.
Cool. Barb.
I agree with John. I think that we are going to be busier than we ever were. I think that people realized how much they really need this business, and the fact that people want entertainment and they want to be able to connect. And so I think it only is good things for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so Dr. Depressing over there. I don't have to point in his direction.
I know he might be in a different place. Who knows?
Down there? All right, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Well, I was going to say, I think during all this too, a lot of people made sure that we, like for example, the Red Alert Restart, to let people know exactly what our industry does for those that had no idea. So I think that was a good thing as well too, to show the world who was actually out of work and put a face to it, of who put the concerts together, who put the Broadway show together, everything like that. So I think that was really important for us when we were out too. We're coming to the end. Barb, what was your path to where you are now, and where did it start for you?
Oh, well, it started at Cinema Services, working for my dad. Mm-hmm. And actually, I started answering the phone and was reading catalogs to learn things, because I hated when people called and I didn't have the answers. Where I have ended up in a million years, I never would have believed it. I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's just really been an amazing adventure for me, and all the different things that I've been able to do in this business. Who would have ever thought? So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, glad you're with us at Forwall, Barb.
Oh, thank you.
Jay Stan, what was your path to where you are now, and where did it start for you?
Like Barb, it was really convoluted. John has heard it multiple times, but it's basically, I followed my passion from drums to organizing a band to becoming a stagehand to being on the road with David Copperfield for 10 years to settling in Vegas and finding out that there was this thing called the convention industry and corporate presentation technology. And I just have followed that passion over the years to do what it is that I do now, and got to meet great people like John Farber, who was my best man, mind you.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I was the best man.
Yes, he was.
15, how many years? 15 years ago?
17.
Yeah. Nice.
He's
save.
still a good man.
Nice save.
I'm still the best man.
It's been a great ride, and I forgot to tell you, John, I'm working with the sound man that you're going to be working with, Mark Swifty.
I heard good things about Swifty.
He's a great guy.
Good.
He's mixed Country Music Awards, worked in Nashville for years, the Grand Ole Opry. Great guy. Excellent.
Awesome. I can't wait.
And John, the short version of where you are now, becoming Jay Stan's best man.
How did you become Jay Stan's best man instead?
He asked me over walkie-talkie. We were doing a lamp check. Celine Dion, we're at the Coliseum, and I'm sitting there at the console, and Jay Stan's on stage because there's a lot of lights I can't see. And I'm on the console, and he's on the radio. And the lighting designer, Ivo Kwan, who's also the lighting designer for Love, Ivo Kwan's sitting next to me doing some paperwork, and my radio is sitting down on the console because I need to type things. And right in the middle of the lamp check, Jay Stan's like, "Hey, John, my brother can't make it into town. Will you be my best man?" I look over at Ivo Kwan, and he's like, "When somebody asks you to be their best man, you say yes." I was like, "Yes, I'd love to be your best man." And I won't tell them about the wedding day when we all got drunk and showed up at your wedding drunk. We won't get to that part.
I think you just, we'll do another episode about Jay Stan's wedding. How about that? John, what, other than that, the Cliff Notes version, where'd you come from? How did you end up in this biz?
I went to college with you. So Jeff and I went to college together. And after college, we both set out to be New York City lighting designers. My path kind of changed, and I just sort of ended up kind of on the road for a while, and then did some tours. Then I went to work for Cirque du Soleil in Biloxi, Mississippi. I did the Beau Rivage Cirque, and then when that closed, I just came out to Vegas.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, this random thing. Came over in 2000, did Storm at Mandalay Bay, right? You can all laugh about that. And then from that closed, and I went right on to Celine. And then from Celine, I just kind of jumped over to Harris.
Cool.
I mean, in a nutshell, that's the really, really, really simple version of it.
We actually designed shows together in New York. We co-designed a couple of things in New York City. I remember you saying we hung a bunch of lights, and you said only two like artsy idiots from Purchase would hang all the good lights, behind the actors and not in front. I'll never forget that.
We do that?
Yeah.
I have no recollection of that. That is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't remember.
Okay, we've just about come to the end. John, everyone, one last question. We'll start with John. John, what advice do you have for people who want to do what you do, who want to get into this business we call show?
Just love doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, if you love doing it, you'll succeed.
Yeah. Jay Stan, some advice for people.
Easy. Focus and learn theater, then apply those principles to this modern presentation world that we're all in.
Yeah. I hope some students are watching this or will. This is you guys are saying some pearls of wisdom here. Barb, some advice.
Try everything. Do all different kinds of things. I mean, in the fact that I've done theater, I've done television, I ran a convention center, I've worked in systems integration, I worked in a company that did rentals and sales. It's just like, try a lot of different things, because I think people come through school and they're focused on being a designer, which is a wonderful thing, but there's so many other different positions out there, different things that you can do. Be open to it all.
Great advice. All around, great advice. We've come to the end of another roundtable, four-wall roundtable. We're not going to play the episode 3 of Light Humor, but Drew, you have some links you can put up.
Yep, I'll add them right now.
Everyone watch your favorite equipment, talk to each other on Zoom during the pandemic. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Really, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
So much.
Barb, John, Jay Stan, it was a pleasure having you on to talk about the reopening Las Vegas. So thank you so much. The links are there, so if you want to watch the YouTube or Facebook Light Humor episode 3, they're in there. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.